Hi guys, welcome to Museum of Light in Seattle. You know what? I never thought I would have been here in any phase of my life, but I'm right here and I'm gonna show you guys what it's all about. I hope you guys will enjoy it and keep it locked.
Once again, welcome to the Museum of Light, one of the largest air and space museums in the world. From the Wright brothers to the space shuttle, this place covers over a century of flight. I'll be spending the day exploring, so let's dive in, guys. Alright, first things first. The museum is about 15 minutes south of downtown Seattle. You can drive and park your car outside or take the Metro Transit Route 124 bus, which stops directly here. So let's also talk about the tickets. General admission is around $26 for adults, $18 for youth, and kids under 5 are totally free. I visited in June and it was busy, but as you can see, it's not overcrowded. So pro tip, buy your tickets online and skip the line. It's actually wise to grab something to eat before you get carried away by the day. So be sure to get what you need by the cafeteria and step outside to enjoy the breeze, the sight and the sounds of the aircraft landing and taking off. Damn, this is marvelous. So once you guys are done enjoying the view of the flights taking off and landing, you now have to make your way to the other side of the building. And this way you have to go through this bridge all the way to the end and go down. Here you'll find the access to the space gallery. For those who are suckers of space stuff, this is the right spot for you. For me, it's not my cup of tea for sure, but again, I am so grateful to be here because I have never thought in a million years that I'd be in any place or see things of the kind. So I'm here, I'm enjoying, so I'm not complaining at all. But anyway, right outside the main building is the aviation pavilion, a 3-acre covered space packed with iconic aircrafts. And the best part, you can actually walk inside some of them. Here you'll find everything from Boeing, 787 Dreamliners, the first ever Boeing 747, a military B-17 Flying Fortress, and even the legendary Concorde. Yo, guys, I'm so excited. Yo, this British Airways Concorde once flew passengers at twice the speed of sound, literally faster than a rifle bullet. Can you even, guys, imagine that? That is insane. A New York to, a London trip took less than 3 hours. Did you hear me right? Less than 3 hours. How is that even possible? It's I don't know, I'm short of words. But inside, it's surprisingly small and narrow. But at the time, it was the height of luxury. You see how the evolution comes, Damn, this is just something incredible. I am so privileged to go inside and enjoy the view, be in such an environment. Damn. Marvelous. Look at this, seats were snug, but hey, you could sip champagne while traveling at Mach 2, not bad, right? And yes, you can step inside and see the cockpit exactly as it was used in service, yeah? What makes this museum so cool is the variety. They've got, the military fighters like the F-14 Tomcat, rare prototypes, the fast Boeing 727 test aircraft. Actually, I didn't know there was 727, to be honest. And even an Air Force One that carried the US presidents from, Eisenhower to Nixon. This is just magical, yeah? And before I forget, in the Charles Simonyi's Space Gallery, you can also explore a full-scale space shuttle trainer that the astronauts actually use for practice. And there are also, spacesuits, rocket engine, and hands-on exhibits for kids. So do not worry about the kids. If you come around with them, they will definitely love this place. So be sure not to miss anything while you are here, all right? This right here is the MiG-21. It was the first successful Soviet aircraft combining fighter and interceptor characteristics in a single aircraft. It was a lightweight supersonic jet fighter designed by the Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau in the Soviet Union. And as years passed by, the plane was plagued with safety problems, and since 1970, more than 170 Indian pilots, including 40 civilians, have been killed in MiG-21 accidents, thus the unofficial nickname Flying Coffin. And the saddest part is that over half of the 840 aircraft built between 1966 and 1984 were lost to crashes. Oh, good Lord. And at least 14 MiG-21s crashed between 2010 and 2013. That was ideally due to poor maintenance, and the quality of replacement parts has been considered to be a factor in this phenomenon. Now, the MiG-21 project is a 5-year multidisciplinary project that transforms a 51 by 24-foot decommissioned Cold War era Soviet-designed MiG-21 fighter jet into a powerful work of art, as you can see, coated nose to tail in million upon millions of glass beads. Damn! This art was curated by one and only South African artist Ralph Zeeman. Hands down to him. The idea was to take, the weapon of war and to repurpose them. This is such a beautiful art. Now, this giant is the NASA Shuttle Carrier aircraft, a modified Boeing 747 that used to piggyback the space shuttle around the country. Standing next to it really gives you the perspective on just how massive these machines are. Imagine seeing this flying overhead with a shuttle on its back. Absolutely surreal. And the orbiters were placed on top of the shuttle carriers by the mate-demate device. Ideally, the orbiters were released from the shuttle carriers during flight and glided to a landing under its own control. Damn, how cool is that? Woo! Something incredible about this museum is that you'll find a replica of the Wright Flyer, the world's first powered aircraft. The exhibit shows how Orville and Wilbur Wright pieced together their wooden flying machine in 1903. And it's wild to think that just 66 years later, humans were walking on the moon. Wow! You can also find this via airmail exhibits showcasing, the early days of airmail and the transition of the air travel from mail delivery to passenger transport. That is a beautiful transition. Now, here is my favorite Blackbird, the Lockheed M-21. It was conceived in the 1950s. Blackbirds remain the world's fastest and highest flying air-breathing production aircraft ever built. Man, how incredible is that? This aircraft can fly at speeds exceeding Mach 3 and at altitudes above 85,000 feet. That is insane, man. And just a few fun facts about this gorgeous bird is that the airframe was constructed from titanium alloy just because aluminum would literally melt at extreme speeds it achieved. Unbelievable, yeah? Another thing is the aircraft was painted black to help it radiate heat from, more effectively and reduce the thermal stresses on the airframe. And having said that, the paint used for the markings of the Blackbird was actually a special chalk that wouldn't burn off at high speeds. Unbelievable. Next up is the tower at the Museum of Flight. It's a real air traffic control tower set up overlooking Boeing Field. you can actually listen to live radio transmissions from pilots, and controllers, just like the real thing, literally like the real deal, And you can actually get the amazing views of the planes landing right outside. I got the nice view initially when I was at the cafe, but this is so much better because at least you can also hear the transmissions from the pilots and controllers. Just pure magic. Something important to note, the museum also has exhibits on the Boeing Training Center showcasing how pilots train in simulators. And you get also a glimpse of flight decks, safety drills, and the intense preparation required to fly commercial aircrafts. And it actually makes you appreciate just how much work goes into every smooth flight we take for granted. Now, these training programs provided here use advanced simulation technology, hands-on learning, and EOM data to enhance aviation safety and competencies, for pilots, technicians, and manufacturing employees. I got to learn a lot about aviation, and as I said, we normally take it for granted when we fly, but there's a lot that goes into aviation than just the aircraft and taking off and landing. Before you leave, don't skip the Museum of Flight store. It's full of everything from detailed aircraft models to NASA jackets, books, and fun aviation toys. Honestly, it's one of the best aviation gift shops I've ever seen. That wraps up my tour of the Museum of Flight in Seattle. Whether you're a hardcore aviation fan or just curious about history, this place is worth at least half a day. You'll walk away amazed at how far we've come in just a century of flight. Alright, if you enjoyed this tour, give the video a like, subscribe for more adventures, and let me know in the comments which plane would you want to step inside, the Concorde or the Air Force One.
Alright guys, this has been it. I enjoyed my time at the Museum of Flight. It was impressive, a lot. I learned a lot, and I would urge you guys to make a point of visiting this place. Until next time, adios.